This is Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance, and we're joined today by Ken Calvert. He is a member of the United States Congress representing significant portions of Riverside County. Sir, it is hot, it is dry, and I want to get a sense from you, how are your constituents doing in the wake of this drought? I mean, ground zero right here in the Inland Empire.
Well, they're doing the right thing. Irregardless why we're in the situation we're in, people are cutting back, they're using less water. You see a lot of brown lawns.
Right.
You see people attempting to take shorter showers and do the
Right.
things that need to be done in a significant drought.
It is remarkable when you think about it. The Californians, left, right, and center, red, purple, and blue, have come together and decreased their water usage, the most recent figures, over 30%.
That's right.
You know, and it's not as if it's a regional issue. We're all doing this together. So, like you said, irregardless of why, we realize we're in this fix, and it's at some level inspirational.
Right. It needs to be done, and I could argue that and for many reasons that we should have had a lot more water stored.
And I want to ask you about storage, if I may, sir. So I can remember 20, 30 years ago, if you said storage to someone left of center, that was a dirty word. Storage meant dams, and dams meant dam. And nowadays, it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that both Democrats and Republicans, while they may differ a bit, storage is now absolutely part of the conversation.
Well, it has to be. When we talk about the Endangered Species Act, when we talk about water for the environment, if we didn't have those dams, there would be zero water for the environment.
Right.
And so 50% of the water that's being released is for the environment.
Right.
40% for farmers, 10% for individuals. And so if that water wasn't behind dams, we'd be in a heck of a fix.
I want to talk about one of those dams, and that is Shasta Dam, which is in Northern California and Redding. I believe it's our largest dam, Lake Shasta, in the state. Really quite beautiful, except when the water levels are as low as they are now. And I was there recently, and I got to tell you, sir, it was a little spooky, because there were these strange islands coming out of the water. They looked almost Martian to me. And I turned to my friend and I said, what's going on here? I mean, it almost scared me a bit. And that's not uncommon up and down the state.
No. It is a tragedy. You look at all of the reservoirs that we have built, our fathers built for us, and you see how empty they are. It's a scary thing. And, because we all want to live the California dream, don't we? We want to have the front yard, and we want the life that our parents had, our grandparents.
But that becomes the question, the California dream. We love our green lawns. Should it be that not be part of the dream? We can have the white picket fence, but the green lawns, maybe they're artificial green.
You know, those, I think Mediterranean gardens are beautiful.
Right.
However, I mean, we have technology today to desalt water. We have technology to recycle water. We have technology to build desalters where farming used to take place to clean up water. And we have a lot of ways to develop water.
And let's talk about some of those exciting developments, because again, Democrats and Republicans, while they differ on many issues as it relates to the drought, they are coming together on some, and desalination is one of them. Dianne Feinstein, United States Senator, Democrat from California, she's put forth a package that includes funding for desalination, which I understand the Republicans support.
I think there's universal support for desalination, except with those in the extreme environmental movement that look at desalination as growth inducement. And so they would oppose it because they would believe if you have more, then we'll have more people.
Right.
There's no dissuading them for any reason. So, but most reasonable, most mainstream Democrats and Republicans, both center right, center left, are in favor of.
And there's got to be a lot of excitement around the fact that in Carlsbad, which is not far from your district, actually. I know you kind of dip down. There's going to be the largest desal plant in the Western Hemisphere.
Right, and it's going to produce 8% of the water for San Diego.
And Santa Barbara is looking to put one back online. Huntington Beach. There's a hybrid plant in Cambria. So desal is moving forward. But back to the question of storage, because you know as well as I that California voters passed a water bond. Democrats and Republicans in the legislature, the California legislature supported it, got overwhelming support, almost $3 billion for storage. I guess it takes a little while to build a dam or increase the size, but we may not have time. The Godzilla El Nino could be around the corner, Congressman.
Well, certainly you don't have time for this winter.
Right.
But we certainly have time to start building these dams for future winters. And Shasta, raising it by 18 feet.
Right.
That's what we're talking about. It shouldn't be controversial. Let's get it done.
So that's a federal dam.
That's a federal
Come
dam.
on.
Let's get her done. It gives us a lot more flexibility in how we operate
Do we have
the
to
system.
talk to Mr. McClintock? Is that his district?
He would like to raise it 200 feet.
More.
So he's all for that.
Right.
And also rebuilding the San Luis Reservoir,
Right.
Sites Reservoir just north of the Delta, which would give us tremendous flexibility and yield. Semper's Flat on the upper San Joaquin River.
Right.
All of these things need to be built, and that would give us tremendous storage, and we wouldn't be in this situation. Another thing we need to do is be smarter about how we operate the system. Last year, a year or so ago, we dumped over 1 million acre-feet of water, which we probably didn't need to release for environmental purposes.
I know what you're
Didn't save one fish.
Yeah, and let's talk about fish, because somehow fish have become controversial, specifically a fish called the smelt, the Delta smelt. And I understand there was a recent survey in the Delta, and correct me, I think they found one smelt?
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah, very few.
Yeah.
There's a lot of controversy about why smelt is disappearing.
Right.
And people just assume that it's because of drought. But there's a number of reasons. You have predator fish.
Right.
You have sewage effluent that's being dumped in the San Francisco Bay out of Sacramento. So there's a number of reasons why we need to look at what's going on in the health of the Delta.
So what do we do, though, about this question of endangered species or perceived endangered species? Because while Dianne Feinstein seems to have lots of friends on the Republican side of the aisle, especially on this issue, she is not interested in tinkering with the Endangered Species Act, whereas I think your colleagues would be. And so how do we get to a place where that doesn't...
Well, what we want to do is use science. We want to make sure that the outcome is the right outcome. We don't want to release water unless there's a reason to release water.
Of course.
We don't want to lose 1 million acre feet for no good reason.
Right.
Right now, recently was released 80-some thousand feet of water down the Trinity River for a non-endangered species. That's enough water for the city of Riverside for 2 years. We have to have good science when we start dumping that water. If we're going to do that for endangered species, we want to make sure it's the right thing to do.
So what does that look like? Do we have the National Science Foundation? I'm just trying to understand.
Well, we need neutral people. We don't need people with a political agenda.
Okay, fair.
And I will say that there are people with an agenda on both sides of this argument. I mean, farmers want water because they want to farm. Fishermen want water because they believe that this will help their salmon populations. But there has to be good rational thought that goes in this.
Do you feel as if by the end of this calendar year we will see a bill that's supported by Democrats and Republicans?
I hope so. That we can come to an agreement that the end would give us more flexibility to pump, and at the same time give us the legislative language we need to go ahead and start building these storage projects.
Right, because there's federal storage, like you said, Shasta, whereas sites would be state, and when the state starts building, it's another conversation.
However, the federal government's involved in everything.
Of course.
You've got the Corps of Engineers, you've got Environmental Protection Agency, you have Fish and Wildlife. So we're going to be involved in any project the state does, and the state's going to be involved in any project the federal government does.
His name is Ken Calvert. He is a member of the United States Congress representing beautiful Riverside County. My name is Brad Pomerance, and this is Charter Local Edition.